Creating winning ads sometimes can be quite difficult. And if your ads aren't hitting the KPIs that you need them to, how do you actually troubleshoot that? How do you analyze and how do you identify where the ad is going wrong? Like what part of the ad isn't quite working? And ultimately, how do you create better ads as a result of that analysis? This is a question that I get a lot. So I'm going to take you through our entire creative iteration process. So if you don't know who I am, my name is Lewin. I've profitably generated over $40 million in online sales for Shopify stores. Personally made 7 figures as a result of doing so. Not saying that to gloat or to brag. That's just purely to add weight to what I'm saying so that you know that I'm somewhat qualified to talk about these topics. So let's jump in. So here is the creative iteration process. It is a beautiful thing. So first of all, what we want to do is make sure that the hard metrics, which are the conversion rate, the add to cart rate and things like that, that they are either above or below KPIs. Now, if they are below KPIs, right, then we want to analyze the soft metrics to find out where the problem is, right? Soft metrics are the thumb stop rate, the hold rate, or the click-through rate or the engagement rate, things on the platform that indicate whether the audience is finding your ad engaging, if it's useful, if it's interesting, if they're being prompted to click it, if they're motivated to click it and go through to your website. So all of the things that entail non-conversions, right? So the thumb stop rate, first of all, that is the percentage of people, otherwise known as the hook rate as well, the percentage of people that watch more than 3 seconds of your video. So obviously, if somebody's watching more than 3 seconds of a video, it means that they've scrolled, stopped, watched it, and then either watched the rest of the video or then carried on scrolling, but it's at least got their attention, right? It's the attention rate, the hook rate, the thumb stop rate, that's all the same thing. So if it has a low thumb stop rate, the diagnosis or the iteration, the improvement to make is to change the hook, because it is all about that first 3 seconds as people are scrolling down or as they're flicking through stories, they're going through reels. Is it capturing their attention? If it's not, then you need to change the hook. Now, there's a bunch of different varieties of hooks that you can have. First one being the pain point, second one being the desire, third being the benefit, fourth being relatability, fifth being insecurity, and sixth being extremity. So obviously a pain point is something that is, painful in the customer's life, that they ideally want to solve. So this could be like, a saving time. It's just some form of problem, right? Now, a desire, obviously we all know what a desire is. This could be like a desire to lose weight. This could be a desire to have, clearer skin. Like, what is the desire ultimately? Now, you can come up with 10 different hooks that all fit within these. So obviously there's 6 of them. So you can come up with 60 different hooks. If you've got 10 in each, you've got 10 pain points, 10 ideal desires, 10 sort of benefits, 10 relatabilities. So obviously relatabilities can be something in the social media world that people are going to relate to. Insecurity, obviously that could be, not getting as many dates because you have acne, blah, blah, blah. It's a bit unethical, but you get the picture. You can come up with loads of different hooks for each individual sort of hook type, which gives you like 60 different variations for you to be able to test in your ad account, which is obviously huge. And obviously you can come up with these yourself and then, so that you're on the right track. And then you can just get ChatGPT to expand upon them. And maybe you can create 20, 30, 40, for each. So first of all, that's the first part of making a video. So if you want to make sure that you are capturing attention and that your thumb stop rate is within KPIs, which is a healthy KPI, I'll give examples of the sort of benchmark KPIs that you want to be aiming for. If it's not, then you need to change it until it is, right? And so then that moves us on to the hold rate. So you're getting a good thumb stop rate. Awesome. You're capturing people's attention. Now we want to move on to the hold rate. Now the hold rate is the percentage of people who watch the video all the way through. So they've had their attention hooked. Now they are sat watching your video all the way through. Now, if your hold rate is low, then you want to adjust it accordingly. So the way that you can make people watch more of the video and all of the video the way through. You can change the pacing of it. So this is more fast cuts. This is to make sure that people, obviously nowadays, so many people have ADHD and stuff and have TikTok brain, and it's just like it's a really common thing. So just making the video literally faster can improve the hold rate dramatically. You can change the demographic of person. So literally you can change the person in the video, like the UGC creator, for example, or in the B-roll, you can use an older person. If it's more targeted towards older people, you can use females, males, different races, etc. Now, another really, really important way, which I think gets overlooked a lot, is optimize for no sound. I think like 50% of the videos on Instagram, on the platform, start playing with no sound. It's like, that's the way that Instagram preloads, and then you have to tap the little like sound icon, and then all the videos will start to play with sound, but it kind of preloads automatically with no sound. So if you don't have captions on your video, where sometimes people are in public spaces and they don't want to have sound on, so they'll literally watch videos without the sound and they'll just read the captions to see what's going on, or maybe it's late at night, they don't want to have the sound really high, whatever. So making sure that your video is optimized for no sound and having captions, and there is explanatory things visually that explain what's going on, so that people don't actually need to listen to the video to be able to understand what's going on. That is a really, really big one. Changing the positioning. So this would be something like the offer, or the way that the video is presented, like whose point of view is it? Is it from the customer's point of view? Is it from a family member's point of view, like of the customer, or friends of the customer, or like just changing the positioning of the ad and sort of the way that it is framed? That can make a huge, huge impact on the hold rate and making sure that the ad is being watched all the way through, because that's obviously what we want. And then lastly, the changing music, I think, is a really important one, because this is such a small, subtle change. But if you are using relevant, sort of up-to-date trending music, maybe it's a song that's been trending on TikTok, or trending on Instagram, or trending in the charts or something, or it is like an old school banger that everybody knows, or whatever it is relating to your demographic, this can have a huge impact on watch rate, because people want to listen to the song, not necessarily like they're staying to watch the video all the way through, but they will watch the video because they just want to listen to the song. If it's like 20 seconds, they'll sit for the 20 seconds because they want to hear the song again. Maybe it's something they've not heard in a long time. So that is a really, really important one. Okay, so now you've got a solid thumb stop rate, you've got a solid hold rate, within KPIs. So you're getting people's attention, you're hijacking their attention, you're getting them to watch your content, but the conversion rate is low. The hard metric is low, which is obviously people purchasing. Now, the way to adjust this, it's relatively limited, and a lot of this work is kind of done on the product page, like in terms of conversion rate optimization. But a way that you can drive people through to the website with more intent is by adding a time limit onto your ad. So, whatever offer that you have, you can make sure that is ending in a day, or it's not going to be available for long, or you can use certain messaging that creates urgency, that adjusts the sort of time limit that people need to that people coming through to the product page, they're going to know that this isn't available for long. And if they click the ad, go through to the product page, and they don't purchase straight away, then they might not get that offer again. Or you can tweak the offer. So maybe the discount, or maybe the bundle, or maybe the shipping isn't strong enough to get that conversion. Again, this is going a little bit more over onto the actual conversion rate optimization, but whatever tweaks are done there can then be implemented onto the ad, onto the CTA at the back of the ad. Or adding social proof. So obviously social proof is very important in ads anyway, and I can sort of go through how to mass create volume content, like high converting content at really, really high volumes, so that you can just stack your ad account with different variations of high converting ads. I can go through that on another video, but adding social proof is super, super important. So at the end of the video, it can be something like, somebody explaining that they got this offer, or they sort of went through this, and this is the outcome that they had, and they're very, very glad that they did it. That's obviously always a really, really good way. So then as you want to, another little sort of tip to be able to improve the overall sort of hold rate and the overall efficiency and effectiveness of your ad is if you have the metric on your ad account for average watch time, you can identify what the average watch time is. So let's say it's 6 seconds, which obviously would be quite strong. You can then go to 6 seconds in your video and just basically see what happens. Like, does somebody else start talking? Does the pace of the video change? Is there an issue with the audio? Is there anything that you can identify on that ad around 6 seconds as to why that might be the average watch time, and why people might go from there to click through to the website, or they might be dropping off there? Because ideally you want people to be most informed, so you want them to watch all of the ad. If it's 15 seconds, then only watching 6 seconds. Obviously, there's an element of people that won't be interested, and that's obviously reflected in your thumb stop rate and hold rate. But ideally, you can identify what's happening at that 6 second mark in the video by looking at the frame and just seeing if there's anything that you can improve in order to do so. Now, what we will then do, this obviously what we do like with our clients for this iteration process. I want to show you how you can sort of understand like how to put this into a feedback loop, so that, you know, if you are an agency or if you are an e-commerce brand that has an agency, how you can then basically get feedback relatively quickly on the ads that you're putting out, and how you can just improve them. And so it can kind of be a bit automated, where you give ads to your agency or you put them into your ad account, and then you get instant feedback, after they've been running for however long or they've spent however much, where you can then sort of identify if they're working or not, how that should look, and what the KPIs are. So we'll sort of put the metrics into our creative feedback loop sheet for the client to review, so they can understand what's worked and what hasn't with that ad. And so this is relatively how it should look. So we will have the link to the ad here. On this side, we will have the thumb stop rate, we'll have the hold rate, we'll have the average watch time, and we'll have the conversion rate of the ad. And then we will have a suggestion on how to improve it. So in this example, the soft metrics were very, very strong. So thumb stop rate 44%, hold rate 14%, average watch time 6 seconds. Very, very, very good, but the conversion rate 0.49%. Not very good, right? So what we want to do then is we want to add more urgency into the CTA, into the offer on the CTA. And we want to maybe tweak like testing a different landing page URL. So we want to sort of tweak a couple things there on the back end to try and get that conversion rate up, because it's generating a lot of interest. It's generating a lot of attention. People are very interested. The click-through rate and stuff is very, very good, but they're not quite buying. So we need to then look over onto the landing page, look over onto the end of the video, the CTA, like how are we actually directing people through to the website, and are we misleading them? Are we showing the wrong product versus what's actually on the landing page? We want to make sure that that's all synced up, and that should obviously improve the conversion rate there. Now, another example, thumb stop rate 33%, still within KPI, still very good. Hold rate not very strong though. Average watch time 4 seconds, but the conversion rate super, super high, or within KPIs anyway. Now this can obviously indicate that the hold rate isn't necessarily as important. Again, if the conversion rate, if the hard metric is within KPIs, you don't really need to pay attention to the thumb stop rate or hold rate. If you're trying to improve them, then that can only improve the amount of orders that you will get and the amount of conversion rate that you will get. But if it's within KPIs, sometimes it's worth not actually changing it and not doing too much to it. But any suggestions that we had on this one in particular was that the hold rate and average watch time are pretty low. So we want to add an offer and a CTA onto it, because this particular ad didn't have any offer or CTA. And rather than sounding like we're selling something to the audience, saying like, I have the answer for you. So this was like one of the hooks that was in there. We should sort of position it from the user's experience, in the sense of like, I finally found the best product. In this case, it was a swimsuit for training and hot girl summer days out, for example. So rather than saying like, I found the best thing for you, it's more so, I finally found the best thing for me. That would be a better sort of framing to make people relate, which would increase the hold rate percentage. So in terms of KPIs, what you want to be aiming for, you want to be aiming ideally for a 25% plus thumb stop rate, a 10% plus hold rate, and a 2% plus conversion rate. Now, thumb stop rate, it obviously can vary massively, but ideally, like in our experience anyway, if you're getting a video that is above 25% plus in thumb stop rate, that can scale, that can do great volume, that can be very, very profitable. Same with the hold rate. If you are holding 10% of the people that are watching more than 3 seconds, they're watching all the video all the way through, that is obviously very effective. You can profitably scale with that amount with a solid ROAS. And then of course, conversion rate. If we're looking at like average Shopify conversion rates and how it's going to convert through coming through an ad, if it's above 2%, that is in the sweet spot of what you want it. Anything more than that is a complete bonus, and that would be profitable, and you could definitely scale that ad. Now, in terms of the amount of time you want to run an ad for to then be able to analyze these metrics and see if there's ways to improve them, ideally you want to be spending multiple times however much the product costs, and you want to be running it over the course of it, like more than 7 days, really. Like you want to give it a lot of ad spend, generate a lot of clicks through it, reach a lot of people through it, so that you can then determine these metrics at scale. Because sometimes you can have an ad that's spent $100, the ROAS on it is like 10, but when you spend $1,000 on it, the ROAS comes down to like 2 or 3. Like at scale it doesn't quite hit, but on a very, very low budget it's very good at picking up low-hanging fruit, and it might even be a good ad for retargeting. So you want to have some context there of like, okay, at scale with a large budget reaching a lot of people, how is this working, and is it working the same as when we had like $50 or $100 ad spend into it. So that is essentially our creative iteration process. Very, very simple, very, very useful, but enables you to have a very solid creative feedback loop with your client or your agency or your team, or whoever is in charge of running the ads for you. So if you find that valuable, let me know in the comments below, but I will catch you in the next one.